how is that different for a quarterback in terms of communication and stuff like that?
Well, there's a reason that we try to take the quarterbacks as freshmen, regardless if they're getting redshirted or not, to the away games, because we want them to experience what it's like to go on the road. Played at Purdue many times. It's a tough place to play. Motley's been to a lot of places that its communication is a problem, and he'll do a great job with it, so there's no concerns.
Frank said he's describes him as a guy who doesn't flinch. Is that a good description of Brendan?
Yeah, I think, the thing of it is that, just like I said, my assessment after the game, I think, was dead on in terms of I don't think we saw the field as well as we should have in the first half, and in the second half we did a much better job, and he made more plays. It was exciting for him to rebound off that first half. It was exciting for him to get a little momentum, a little confidence, and it was great for our team.
When you say didn't see the field well, it's just like throws coming out late. It seemed like a couple.
No, first play of the game, for example, they went to cover 2 on us, which they haven't shown a snap at 2 deep on first down at all, and we were throwing a smash route, and he worked it as if it was free access cover 4, and didn't see it. And then during the 2-minute drive, or the throw that we made to Cam Phillips, the ball should have actually been to Isaiah. So there's things like that, the details, a lot of things that probably the fans don't see, but that we see that needs to get corrected when you're playing a really good opponent.
You've done a pretty effective job moving the ball on the ground 2 weeks in. Where do you see the running game and what still needs to get better?
Yeah, well, obviously consistency, but we're a heck of a lot more consistent than we've been, but obviously you're always striving to be perfect. But I think the backs are running hard. I think our line's doing a much better job. The quarterbacks are getting us in and out of play. So when you're running, we're blocking the perimeter better, not perfect, but better. And running the football is a group deal. It's a team deal. So we're just playing better.
When you look at those backs and now you get Shy in the mix too, do you have a sense of what you want rotation-wise, or are you still kind of evolving game to game by?
We've got a specific plan generally for each guy. We knew Trayvon what he was going to do in this game, vice versa, and then obviously things changed real quick when JC. I don't know what he did. There was a deal with his leg. So we've got a specific plan each game for what we want to do with each guy.
Was that how you plan the quarterback rotation with Lawson playing the fourth quarter?
No. We were going to put Lawson in like we did. We were going to insert him early in the game, especially whenever the game was significant. I think it's really important that a younger guy gets in there when it's real, whenever the game's tied or what have not, to gain some experience. Were we going to overload him in those situations? Absolutely not. And then our plan was once the game was in hand, to get him as many reps as we can and get Durkin in there too. So that was the plan, and that's pretty much what we planned on doing.
Where is Durkin in his development? You talked about this being a big, spring and off season. And did he do what you wanted?
Yeah, he did a really nice job, and just like I said, our plan with that backup situation. I mean, Lawson is doing a good job, and so is Chris, and we've got 2 young guys there that are learning. They're learning on the fly, and it's not easy whenever you're a true freshman, and it's not easy when you're a redshirt freshman. So we're trying to help those guys take some things off of each guy, and that's our plan.
What separated Lawson? I mean, he was the backup when Motley had the helmet issue. He came in. What made Lawson number 2?
Well, there was probably some things that were out of Chris's control. He was banged up and what have not. So we're going to take that from week to week and just see where we're at. So that's our plan.
Does Durkin know he's allowed to run around guys?
No, he does a nice job. He did a really nice job running the football. I was proud of him. It was good to get him in there and get him some experience. So it was good. There were some really positive things you saw out of Chris, which was great.
When you look at, and we talked so much about this, I know, but the receivers, and you want to play Ford and Phillips less, and you weren't able to do that again. Are you concerned at what you're getting behind those guys?
No. We're going to play our best players out there, and that's what we're doing right now. We're letting those other guys develop, and they're going to get in there. But we want to make sure that every guy that's stepping on that field knows what they're doing inside and out, and as you keep going in this thing, the games get bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously this one's a really big football game for us, so we need to make sure that every player out there knows what they're doing their job, because as we go in this deal, some of the mistakes that we made in this game can't happen in this game, or we'll be in a totally different situation. So it's really important that we know what we do, know what we're doing our job, et cetera, and we're going to put those guys on the field that we know will get that done.
Are you still, though, 80 snaps a game for 4, are you still wanting to scale back what he's doing?
Well,
Or?
Isaiah's in great shape now. It's a different deal now with him. Isaiah Ford can play an entire football game. He couldn't last year. He was 175 pounds soaking wet. He was a freshman. I thought last year was ridiculous. Isaiah Ford's a different cat now. He's a bigger, stronger, more experienced guy that can play a lot of snaps. So I'm not worried about Isaiah right now. Not half as concerned as we were last year.
Is Kevin Asante, what his...
He's doing good.
What's missing?
They're good. They're all doing well. They're developing. They're getting better, and their time's going to come. And we know their time's going to come.
Marshawn Williams, is he closer to being full speed, or are you still...
That's 100% with the medical people. You can ask Coach Beamer and you can ask Mike where he's at. Are you happy with the way he's playing? When you
Wyatt Teller this past week had 7 pins and 19 knockdowns. I've never had a kid do that well. So he's playing well. He's playing really well.
not well enough to come talk to us, or?
Well, we just had our second game, and he's playing really, really well right now. He's playing hard. He's the most productive lineman we've got right now in the games, and he's doing really well. I'm really pleased with it.
What do you see out of Nige in these first couple of games? Obviously, seems like his reps increased an awful lot this past weekend, but
Did you count the first week? He played, I think, 53 snaps the
He
first
played
game.
more?
He played 51 this game.
okay.
So he's playing a lot. We're just trying to get him comfortable out there, and he's doing a good job. He's on raw talent. He's going to learn. He's going to get better technique-wise. He's a competitor. He's working hard at it. He's doing a good job.
Do you see him and McLaughlin as you're starting to going forward there? At those
Wade Hanson started the last two
right,
games.
Right.
And
I didn't know if that changed.
no, I like being able to have more than two guys that can play, because you never know when somebody's going to get dinged and all, and getting him as many reps as we can. I think he's a very talented kid. He's going to be a really good player one day.
How was Gallo handled all the play calling duties that come along with center job?
Gallo's done a good job. There's been a couple deals in there that we got to clean up, but kid plays hard. He keeps the line on the all together, ties them together with the calls and the might declarations, things like that. So he's doing a good job.
You guys have put up pretty good rushing numbers the first 2 weeks. Are you happy with the way your line is run blocking, the holes they're opening? I know there's more you want, I'm sure.
We would like to have been better that first week. We'd like to have taken care of our quarterback better that first week, but this past week it was a challenge to play with better technique, to play with better effort. And regardless of your opponent, if you play with good technique, you'll play with good effort, if you'll trust your fundamentals, you should get the results we want. And I think they really worked at it. John McLaughlin got much better with his pass sets. Josh got better. White got better with his steps. The whole process was better. And people say, well, you know, it's because you played Furman. Well, Furman's a good football team, but we're going to play better talent. But if we'll keep the same techniques, play with tremendous effort, it should work out.
Where does Purdue fall? Because Ohio State, obviously, we know their talent level. Furman, not Ohio State. Where does Purdue fall, and what do you see from their front?
I think that they're a much bigger front. You know, the guys are 6'5", 275, 2 or 3 of them. One of them's over 300 pounds. So that's going to be a much bigger challenge than it was this past week. They play hard. They're a physical bunch. So we got to raise our level up this week.
And defensively, give us kind of a scouting report on, you know, what do they do defensively?
Their Mike backers very active. They give you multiple fronts. They try to take away the inside zone. They've got some multiple blitzes on third down that we really got to work at. It's early in the week. We haven't got it all planned out yet, but just working on normal downs. They're a solid football team. You look at them, they've played close with a lot of really good football teams, whether it's Michigan State or whoever up there, and they Nebraska, some teams that are good football teams, and they're playing them close into the fourth quarter, and so we got a huge challenge.
Can you tell us about the origin of the Hokie Hammer / meat tenderizer?
The meat tenderizer?
Yeah.
I think Augie came up with that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And that's something these kids they started back in January, and they made some goals for themselves, and I think the unit's closer than it's been, and at least since I've been here, and they're trying to push each other, and they compete for that, and they award that to one another each week by the way they practice, not necessarily the way the game goes, but why they practice.
How do you prepare? Road game's different. The crowd noise, it affects line calls, hearing the signals. How do you get this group ready for their first road game of the year?
Well, we always have the ability to have crowd noise in our new facility, and we'll work on that, and we can crank that up and simulate the noise, and you've got to be great communicators. You got to be great with your snap count.
Is that a concern? I mean, you have a new quarterback, you have a center who you're breaking in first season. Is that a concern going on the road?
It is something we've addressed, and we've talked about it today in the meeting. We've talked about it as a staff, and it's something we'll address when we start practice.
Is there a name for the meat tenderizer, or is it just the hammer?
You'll have to ask Augie Conte.
Okay.
Don't call it the meat tenderizer.
That's what I thought.
Call it the hammer. The hammer sounds better.
It's like the hammer of Thor, kind of?
Excuse me?
It's like the hammer of Thor.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
You got it, Jason. That's it.
How are you?
When you think about Marshawn, and I know your dad said he hasn't been completely medically cleared, but where is he, and are you closer to the
I'm
red
kind of
shirt?
the same that we were last week. We really, to be honest with you, since the last time I stood here, we haven't talked about Marshawn's status one time as a staff. I mean, when he's healthy and he's ready to go, we'll see where we are as a football team and where he is at that point. But right now, I love the group that we have, and that's what we're focusing on.
What is he doing right now?
He's working with it.
Just
I mean, he's doing everything he can from a rehab standpoint. Every time I look out my window, he's doing something out there on the practice field with our training staff. He's rehabbing. I mean, he's really attacked that well from a rehab standpoint. He's working hard and doing everything he can to get back. He's a little bit farther behind than Shy just because of where the injuries, when they occurred last year. But, he's doing everything he can, and hopefully we can get him 100% healthy, and then we'll see where things are at that point.
no
get shot back.
contact? And where is he? Like,
No contact. So he does everything during practice. During the day, he's rehabbing in the training room. During practice, he's with Coach Gentry with all of our injured guys, and then he's standing over there with us getting mental reps. And that's more just really trying to attack the rehab. Back in August during preseason camp, he was practicing and without contact, and he's still doing that a little bit, but we've really been attacking the rehab and the conditioning part of it as well. He knows what to do. Marshawn's a smart kid, so it's more important during practice when he's not it's more important for him to be doing conditioning stuff and extra conditioning during practice with Coach Gentry and his staff than it is, standing next to me and watching us run the inside zone. I mean, he knows what to do there.
You get Shy back, so we're obligated to ask you how you're going to split the running back carries this
I need
week.
to send out just like a weekly tweet at the beginning of the week to save y'all some time too, huh? I don't know. That's a good question. I just came from a running back meeting, and that's what I told those guys is we've got a highly competitive room. We talk about our defensive line on this team, and that's a good group, but I really like the group that we have in our room from a depth standpoint and the amount of talent that we have in that room. It's a really, really good group, and it's highly competitive. And, disappointed in some things on Saturday. We had close to 600 yards of offense, but I don't feel like we played very well at the running back position. And the conversation I had with those guys is we've got a highly competitive room, and we need to make sure that we're all on top of our games from a mental standpoint, and the guys that are doing things right throughout the week and during games with and without the ball are the ones that are going to be able, are the ones that are going to play. So having said that, liked what Shy brought to the table. We would have liked to have got him a couple more carries. We had taken Trayvon McMillan out. Sam had come out. Trey and JC had come out. So Shy was really our only running back left, and we were running a lot of the jet sweep stuff to get the quarterback, let Dwayne run the ball a little bit, and that's not really Shaw's thing. So he at least got, I think, an extra conditioning session out of it during the game with all the running that he did back and forth without getting the ball from side to side. So that was good. He's got to get in shape, but I do like the way that he ran. He ran with the same physicalness that he usually does, and that was good to see.
Why weren't
Usually
you
have two
pleased
primary
with your?
guys.
Okay, I'm
Usually
coming.
have two primary guys and then another change of pace guy. You got 4 guys there. Is that one guy the odd man out, or is
You
there a
know,
role
we'll
for
see,
everybody?
and I would throw Sam in that mix too. I mean, Sam showed what he can do running the football a little bit against Ohio State as well, so we've got no problem with Sam being back there. That's a good question. I like what we have. We're not going to get into a 1 week it's this guy, 1 week it's that guy, 1 week it's this guy, this series it's that guy, and be bouncing around and playing too many. We've talked about that plenty, I know, over the last few years. But Trey and JC are still our top 2. Every week we're competing in practice. They know that they're being pushed by a really good group behind them. Trayvon got in the game and did some good things with some of the jet sweeps and running the ball in, catching it. We want to be able to continue to increase his reps as we go. We want Shy. We'd like to be able to increase his reps, but we also know that it's not realistic to play 4 or 5 running backs in a game. I don't think anybody played more than 20, 25 plays the other day, but we'll see how practice goes each week, and then every Saturday we're going to do what gives us the best chance to be successful.
Did you feel like somebody in particular in your backfield wasn't as mentally engaged and as Furman as you'd like?
Not really. I think overall as a group, I think we just could have been better without the ball in our hands. We had a couple protection busts in the third quarter, which is inexcusable. We can't have that, and it wasn't anything Furman was doing that we didn't expect. It was stuff that we practiced last week that we busted early in the game, a couple of them, and that's disappointing. And that goes back to me as a coach. I mean, it's my responsibility to get them ready, and for whatever reason, I think we're ready to play because we played hard. But from a mental standpoint, a couple things that we missed was concerning. And then just without the ball in our hands, carrying out fakes, things like that. I think as the game went on, we got a little sloppy with that, and we were able to get away with that against Furman. But as we go through the season, we can't get away with that kind of stuff. So we certainly have to be better, and it's encouraging that you ran for as many yards as we did and scored as many points as we did, and as an offense feel like there's a lot of things to clean up, running back wise, receiver position with depths on routes, and offensive line, quarterbacks. We can all be better as a football team, and I'm worried about the running backs and was pleased with some things that we did. We made plays, but we've got to be better without the ball in our hands also.
Just tell us, running game wise, you guys have put up pretty good numbers the first 2 weeks. I know Shane was saying there's still some things to clean up, but
Right.
where do you feel like the running game is right now?
Doing well. We just got a lot of room to improve in little things, and maybe it's hard to see from an outside perspective. There's little things that we just got to clean up, whether that's pass protection, little things within just fundamentals that we got to clean up, and we're all going to be better at. But obviously, you're never perfect, and we're always going to find things to work on. So
It's been such a big topic the last 3 years that you guys haven't run the ball as well as you wanted to. Do you feel though like you're pointed the right direction? Like this is
Yeah.
going to be the year that's over?
definitely, we're getting in the right direction. And we try not to pay attention to too much. No offense to what you guys say too much, but at the end of the day, we just try to win games, and we're just gonna do whatever we can to help our team win. So that's what we're gonna do.
There's some question, I guess, timeline-wise, if Michael Brewer would be able to get back this year. As
Right.
a teammate, do you expect to see him play again this season?
I know Brewer. He's gonna do everything he can to get back, and he's a tough guy. I know Isaiah Ford was talking about it earlier, but he's one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. He's gonna find a way to get back on the field. So I have no doubt in that or him.
What do you tell teammates about this is going to be the first road game? Do you remember anything from your first, anything stand out that you were like, oh man?
Well, yeah, my first road game was against Alabama in the Georgia Dome, so that definitely stood out by itself. Yeah, it's just different. Just being on the road is different. But like I said, that was my first game, so that kind of I got thrown in the fire right away. But you leave earlier. You got to get your mind right, and you got to be professionals about it, and it's real business-like. You just got to get on the plane and just go and do your business and be about business. That's what we're gonna do.
Even though that was a neutral field game, did you feel like that was a road game since there were so many Bama fans there?
It's kind of we traveled really well. I will say that.
Yeah, you did.
But it echoed in there. I remember that just being so loud, and obviously coming from high school, that's a little bit different. So
What stuff have you guys done you have a new quarterback, a first-year center. What stuff have you done in the past year to deal with crowd noise? Pumping in music or, I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
what do you do?
We'll go in the stadium and just blare this like static noise. Coach Leffler knows it makes us mad, but like it's hard to think in there. But that's the point. That's what he's trying to get across. Trying to make it a little chaotic, just so you have to really just focus on your job and focus on getting the right play in and stuff like that. So it does help a lot.
You come out of that with a headache afterwards?
No, nothing like that. But it's good though. It does make you really focus, because if you're trying to pay attention to what the noise is like or anything like that, you're going to miss the play. You're going to miss your responsibility. So it helps a lot. He does a really good job with that.
Sounds like Wyatt Teller had a pretty good game on Saturday. We're not allowed to talk to him anymore, but what did you see when you watched the tape of Wyatt? What stood out to you?
Wyatt's an animal. It's just, to say the least. He plays really, really hard. That's basically all you can say. If you watch him on film, he's just an animal. He gets after people. He's going to be really good. But like I said, everybody, we all got stuff to work on, and even he's got stuff to work on just like I got stuff to work on, and that's what they focus on. No matter how good you play, reward him for that, but you still got stuff to work on. But, yeah, long story short, he's an animal.
Were those pancakes, were they more run block, pass block, and even
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. He just gets after people. He's a fun guy to play with. He definitely motivates me when I see him getting pancakes. I want to get one, so it's awesome.
It seemed like you were a little nicked up in the last couple of games, just kind of typical.
Yeah, just soreness, things like that. A little banged up towards the end of the Ohio State game and early in the Furman game, but I'll be fine. Just get in the training room and keep grinding away. I'll be good.
I know you said that you guys were confident in Motley going into that Furman game. He had a little shaky start, and then he hits 9 of 10 in the third quarter. I know you were confident going in, but did that maybe elevate? You say, okay, now he's put it on film, he's done it. Did it raise your confidence level?
I don't think it shook our confidence at all, because we already had confidence in him. I'm just happy for him that he has that confidence now, that he's able to say, I was able to go 90% in the third quarter. I was able to do this kind of stuff. So just for his own psyche, I'm just happy for him that now he sees, okay, I can do this. So I thought that was really good, really happy for him. He did a really good job, and can't wait for next game. So
there's a big emphasis on receivers blocking better in the run game through 2 weeks. Have you seen that? Do you see those guys doing a better job on the perimeter?
Yeah, Coach Burton does a really good job with that, and he keeps them disciplined. Those guys want to get after people during the game. Isaiah and Cam, I know they're always on the sidelines talking about, man, we got to get another knockdown. So those guys are getting after it, and like I said, we're all going to keep getting better, keep working hard in practice, and keep working to improve all the little things. So
they're also still playing a ridiculous number of snaps, Ford and Phillips. You're not going too deep at that position. Coach said that Ford in particular is in really, really good shape this year. Do you see that? Does he look like a guy that can play 4 quarters without resting much?
Yeah, he's an incredible specimen. I would just say that. Even work with him all season. Him and Cam, they'll have just like these oxygen masks on, just like working, trying to just like increase their stamina. And they're just really hard workers. They're fun to be around. That's why I love this team. There's so many people that you can just look to and you can just draw inspiration from. You can just keep working hard, and that's what these guys do. So.
But you're calling him an impressive specimen?
Yes.
People that marvel at your work ethic, think he's impressive.
He's very impressive. Can't control what people think of me, but I know what I think of him, and he's impressive.